Hello guys, welcome to today's video. Today we'll be seeing a very important design pattern which is called as visitor pattern. I'm sure you might have seen this visitor pattern in use in different kinds of application that you might have worked on or might have yourselves worked on the visitor pattern. So I will try to explain visitor pattern in simple words. So visitor pattern comes under the class of behavioral design pattern. Therefore, the basic intent of visitor pattern is to separate the behavior from the actual class, or in other words, to separate the behavior from the data. Your data resides in one class and the behavior will reside in another class. So in simple words, if you want to think of visitor pattern, this is the way. Means behavior of that particular object or the class will be separated out in a different class, and the data will be encapsulated in different class. So while I am trying to explain the visitor pattern, I will try to compare and contrast with another design pattern, another behavior design pattern, which sits or which looks pretty similar to the visitor pattern, which is known as strategy pattern. So let's start with the visitor pattern now. And here, as you can see in this UML diagram, I'm talking about a product class. This is the product class, and it has two different kinds of products: fresh vegetable product and the canned item product. And for each of these items, there are different visitors available. Each visitor will work on each of these product items. Therefore, each visitor will actually encapsulate the behavior required for these product items. In other words, if you wanted to simplify things, there is a cheapest price visitor and there is a reduced price visitor, and two different kinds of behavior which is encapsulated in two different clauses. For cheapest price visitor, the basic idea of a cheapest price visitor is to get the cheapest product price of all the product it has visited till now. And reduced price visitor is to calculate the reduced price or discounted price of each of the product it is visiting. Those are the responsibilities of each of the individual visitor. And the other main thing and the other syntactical thing that you have to remember is this product class will have an virtual API called accept, which takes in a visitor object as an argument. And each of this visitor will have a virtual API called visit, which will take in a product item as an argument. So that is the basic syntax of this visitor pattern. So let's dive into our code and let's try to see it in action. So in the case of visitor pattern, this is the product class that I was talking about. This product class, item class, and there are two different kinds of item: fresh vegetable item and the canned item. If you just try to see, it is inheriting from this class item, and item is implementing this product class. Therefore, that's how the hierarchy follows. And these are the product section. And next, coming to the this package also follows the falls under the product. Therefore, it actually encapsulates or stores the list of product. That's what a package is. And next comes the visitor. Therefore, this is the base class product visitor. It has multiple visits corresponding to each of the product item. And there are the, as I told in the human diagram, there is the cheapest visitor to actually get to store the cheapest item which it has visited till now. Therefore, that is the cheapest price visitor, and the reduced price which calculates the discounted price of each of the item it visits. So for each of the item class, fresh vegetable class, there is a visit API. For canned item, there is a separate visit API. And these are the implementations of those APIs. And let's try to understand. There are test APIs which are written to actually understand the flow. If I'll just try to go through the one of the test method to understand what it is. Therefore, there are different kinds of vegetables which are defined: carrot, peas, something which is defined, and there are different canned items which are defined. And I have defined a package which actually contains all these products. Therefore, I'm trying to add the fresh vegetable into this package, and peas into this package, and the baked beans into this package. And next, I'm defining a visitor, cheapest visitor. Therefore, my intention is to find out the cheapest visitor calculates the price of the cheapest item in the package. That's what the job of cheapest visitor is. Therefore, here I set the price of the visitor to the uh, first price, first item's price. to initialize the price. Just to we need a reference so that we can actually compare the price of the product, right? Therefore, for that we have set the initial price for it, and this particular package is accepting a visitor called cheapest visitor. Let's try to go to the accept API in the package. Therefore, if we go to the accept API in the package, it actually takes in the product visitor, uh, which is actually the base class of the cheapest visitor. Therefore, the cheapest visitor visit uh, visit API is getting called, passing in the this pointer. That means it is passing in the package object. So let's try to go to the visit API. So we have to go to the cheapest visitor visit with package. Uh, with package taking in the argument package. Let's try to see what it does. Therefore, since there is no overloaded or overdone method in the cheapest visitor, it will go to this product visitor dot visit, and what it does is it we will get the package object, and it will try to iterate over each of the items in the package and try to get the product of it, try to get the product which is contained in that package and call the accept on it. What this does is it will actually go to the accept API of the particular product class. For example, if the product is fresh vegetable, which we have added in the package, the control goes here accept, which actually gets the which visitor it is trying to invoke, or it is trying to visit. For in our case, it is the cheapest visitor, and again it calls for each of the individual item, for each of the individual product. It calls visit API. So again, it will go to the cheapest visitor visit, taking in the fresh vegetable. So the control comes here, and it tries to get the minimum price. It tries to update this member variable with the minimum price of the product, and it adds to the item this vector class. That's what happens when we call the package dot accept, passing in the cheapest visitor. So this package contains a list of products which can be either fresh vegetable product or it can be canned item product. And for each of the product, will accept the visitor, which is the cheapest visitor, and the cheapest visitor visit API will be called passing in that individual product object. Therefore, with that, it will try to update the minimum price for each of the object that it has encountered in the package. That's how the flow is, and once the thing is calculated, we can get the value using the cheapest visitor, get minimum item, get name, and get minimum price, which is the which item is having the minimum price and what it is identifier or what it is name. We can actually get it like this. So this is for the cheapest visitor. Similarly, for the reduced price visitor, so it takes into additional argument, that is discount ratio it takes in, and package then accepts the reduced price visitor, which again follows the same flow. It goes to the base class accept API, which will iterate through all of the items in the package, and for each of the items in the package, it will call uh, accept on those items. So it will go to those items and it will do a visit on those items, and again the flow continues. And for this reduced price visitor, if you go to the implementation of this reduced price visitor, let me try to expand one of the reduced price visitor. It will try to set the discounted price. It will calculate a discounted price based on the discount ratio that we have passed in the reduced price visitor. So that's how the flow goes. I guess it is getting clear. Means I will just share the code also with this particular video. I will link. Uh, I will actually paste the code in the description box so that you can take the code and try to run it and see and debug the flow actually. Therefore, the next main thing I want to compare is with the strategy pattern. Therefore, if you try to visualize the strategy pattern, the intent is also to separate the behavior from the data. Visitor is also doing the same thing. It is separating the behavior from the data. Therefore, what is the difference between the strategy and the visitor? The strategy actually can be visualized as a generalization to the visitor pattern. Means, in other words, visitor pattern deals with the behavior of multiple data items. What do I mean from that? If you go to this visitor class, reduced price visitor, if you go to this reduced price visitor class, it has the visit API for each of the product items. For each of the product items, it has a visit API and it calculates the reduced price for all the product items which are there. But if you are implementing it as a strategy pattern, then it will only deal with one data item, means that particular product will have a reference to a particular strategy or reduced price strategy, and each of the product will actually call that some common API on that particular strategy object. It will that individual behavior class. That individual behavior class, if you see in the UML diagram, it has multiple. It deals with multiple data objects, visitor. But in the case of strategy, it deals with a specific data object. For visitor, can be visualized as a generalization to the strategy pattern. If strategy is actually much more specialized compared to the visitor pattern. It is used in specialized use cases or scenarios where it has we have to select a particular strategy where the product decides which strategy to opt for. So that individual strategy will not decide what all objects it has to work on. For that, other way relation will not be there. Unlike the visitor case, it decides which all objects it will try to work on. Therefore, it will have multiple based on that. It will have multiple implementation of this visit API for each of the product items. So that's the difference. That is the main difference that you have to remember when comparing the strategy pattern. I hope it is clear, and I will just try to share this particular code along with this video. And do check out the description box for the blog, associated blog with this particular video. Therefore, that blog will contain much more details related to the visitor pattern, and that would be much more helpful in understanding the visitor pattern. And do share your thoughts in the comment section, and do like and subscribe to the channel. And if you want any other details that you need to know, and do post it in the comment section, and do share this video with your friends and groups. Thank you.